Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new review. Today we're gonna have a look at a new vape systems RTA. Yeah, which is a nice thing because I think I did quite a lot of reviews for vape system biker models, and now we've got the new L. Yeah, it's L. It's an interesting thing because it's an updated version of the very first atomizer made by Vape Systems. I think it was 12 years ago. This is quite cool because this is an RTA, which is a small size. It's a 19 millimeter diameter, 47 in height, 3 ml capacity, 316 stainless steel. MTL, 3 air pipes. Yeah, we're gonna have a look. So we've got a manual here in Italy and in Italian and in English. The new distributor in Italy is Vaping Gentleman Club, where I bought this one also. And I don't know other countries, so this is actually the distributor I know. So check out where you also can find it around the world. We've got the different air pipes, 1.2, a 1.4, and a 1.7, which you can identify not by any marking on the air pipes, but you can identify it pretty good just by your eyesight because the diameter is visibly different. So these 3 measurements are actually easy to find. Packaging, as we know from biker quite easy, nothing really special. And here we've got the Biker L, which is an interesting, good looking small RTA. As I said, 19 millimeters. We've got the typical tank shield. There are also other tank shield versions available. I will take a look here. This is the combination of PC and inox tank. There are also different versions. Gonna check out. Price of this is 139 euros. We've got spare parts like refill top cap spare parts for around 21. The chamber itself around 22. Air pipes as spare parts is around 8 euros. The combi PC inox tank, for example, is around 25. Yeah, a lot of spare parts, also base, top cap. Yeah, you can buy it as completely as spare parts also, which is, in my opinion, a pretty good thing. The complete height without drip tip is 47 millimeters, but it is not as tall as expected, I have to say. So it's a good looking thing, in my opinion. So we're gonna check out everything. So 510 drip tip, which is quite clear. Then we have a top cap here, which you have to remove when refilling. So we have the ring, and then we have the cap, which also is a little bit like a drip tip adapter, and then we have a top fill. And in this top fill we have also a liquid control. The liquid control can be moved freely, so there is no beginning or stop point. And when you can see the 2 small holes in here and in here, then it's open, and all other areas are closed. That works pretty well. This is done, in my opinion, very good. As always, biker models, it's not, how can I say it? It's not the absolutely latest technology itself, but it's good. And these are good and solid devices, and these are flavor-wise very good devices. This PC tank here is threaded on top and bottom side, and this is threaded, yeah, very, very carefully and solid, and I cannot unthread it. I am not sure if you should unthread it by yourself. I cannot say. It's very close. I also have to say that I have some minor scratches here on mine, which I am sure I did not by myself. I think it came like this. I just used it indoors, so I think this is not a mistake by myself. Yeah, evaporation chamber here, you can see this just comes in here, stays in place, and opens and closes freely. Or on the other side, this just moves like this, and we have these small cutouts which are feeding holes, and that works all very, very well. Flathead screws, not my first choice, but they work pretty good. We have clamps on the side for thin wire, bigger wire. It works good. We have deep cotton wells, which are pretty good, and we have a very high outcoming air pipe here, which is also good regarding any condensation issues. So this is, in my opinion, solved very, very clever. You can, of course, open up everything here with these two small screws. I just watched lately a video of myself, and I realized, which I do not realize when I'm talking here live in my camera, I realized that I'm saying a lot of amps, and I want to try to avoid that, but I don't know if I can really do it. So if you put this like this, so you can see we've got all these parts, the air pipe, which you can also change when everything is installed and your wick and cotton and everything is, your setup is ready. And then you can see that this is a clever design because we have another screw here and insulators inside, so everything is holding good together because we have another fixed point in here. So I think I will not also open up this here. When you put everything together, keep an eye that this O-ring here is sitting good and careful and in place. Yeah, not too bad. So this is good. Then we have here Biker L Vape System CE trash bin, a serial number. Yeah, everything cool. And once again, if you want to change the air pipes, you can do this easily. One thing that I like on these air pipes, despite the fact that we have a very, very long airflow way here, what makes a good and smooth airflow and also a tight feeling airflow. I will come to that point later. So the 1.7 does not feel like a 1.7, and the 1.2 is too tight for me actually. This is quite interesting. But one thing is interesting, we have a lot of threads here, meaning wise the threads are starting right here, and it's pretty easy to install the air pipe, to put it in and to put it out. Works pretty well. O-ring is also very good. Yeah, easy to handle. Really easy to handle. I have to say I like it. It's a good RTA. Just here a safety thing here. I like to do that to not to scratch anything. And now I'm gonna use my Pico here. Yeah, flathead screws. This is maybe the only small minor point, the only thing I have to mention, that I would have liked to have some Phillips screws here, just like them a bit more. I'm gonna use a 2.5 millimeter ID here with my typical Cancel A130 gauge. So here we can use this clamps perfectly to have everything in place. Very easy to have your setup to hold your wire. So we're gonna adjust everything a little bit. I try to set up my wire not too tight that I have a little bit of choice to adjust my height later on. And then when this is finished, I can snip off my wire, or I can just do manually by hand or by fingers. That's a good thing when you're using thin wire. It makes definitely life easier. And then I can adjust my position a little bit, and then I can just see that my resistance is fine. And then I can do one thing which I like to do is gluing up my wire a little bit, and then I just press it a little bit together. That I'd like to make my coil a little bit smaller, because it's a very thin wire and you cannot do this freely. It's easier to do this when your setup is installed. So this is about the height, the position when your legs are down. This is a good position for having a good balance of flavor and throated. You can play around. There is enough space. This is, yeah, pretty cool and works very good just to play around a little bit. So I'm gonna use my standard cotton. Amount of cotton which I'm gonna use, yeah, I did not have any problems regarding a little bit more, a little bit less cotton. Everything worked pretty good. So there is not a critical point of using too much or maybe not enough. I see it as an very easy to use RTA. No big mistakes possible. Just cut your cotton maybe just like when the diameter of the RTA would measure around 22-23 millimeters when you were used like this on other models. And then I just check that my fiber ends are going softly down, not pressing anything. And just remember, your feeding ports are these cutouts here, so this has to be filled with cotton. The rest is not affected a lot. I mean, it makes sense to fill out the area actually, but there is no need that it is filled out completely. So if these cutouts are filled with cotton, everything should work quite normally. I'm gonna use some Vaping Gentleman liquid here, the net, the Virginia. But I have to say that, don't get me wrong, I am not really a net vapor, so I cannot tell you, yes, this is for a specific Virginia, Latakia, etc. And net tobacco flavor is perfect with that kind of wire and stuff. Ask your beloved Italian reviewers about that thing. I am not the right person for that. I can say that this atomizer goes in the direction of a net atomizer. Why can I say that? Because for me personally, I am missing a touch of sweetness on any flavors I tried. And I tried many flavors, a lot of different Tom Clarks and single flavor stuff, and of course, fruity stuff and so on. I'm just missing a touch of sweetness. And therefore, this atomizer, in my opinion, does give a lot of herbish aroma flavors. I am not sure if this is really the correct words to say, but I think you might understand what I want to say. Please don't forget this. This is not closing 100% here, but that does not matter. It's working pretty well. Check out that the liquid control here is not open when you are refilling. That all works pretty well. So, just a hint of Virginia will not vape a lot of tobacco stuff, and we're just gonna put on the top cap here. So click, and then we're gonna close the ring, and then everything is installed. I'm gonna use my typical drip tip I like using the most. This is an Evans drip tip with a there is a pretty dry O-ring now on it. Oh, this O-ring is actually too dry. Yeah, so we're gonna use the original one because that's fitting now a little bit better. And we're just gonna open the airflow here, and we're gonna have a vape. So, 12 watts right now, resistance 1.3 ohms. And this is the maximum airflow with the 1.7 millimeter air pipe, which is unusual for me because as standard I would use a 1.2. But the 1.2 here on the biker system with this very long air pipes is very tight. It feels more like a 1.0. And it was before the same as on other biker models. The 1.4 is somehow in my direction what I like, and now I'm using the 1.7. The 1.7 is a little bit louder, you can hear that, but for me it seems that the flavor on the 1.7 is even better. Yeah, it's a very good RGA, in my opinion, also good looking. It's not too tall even when it's 47 millimeters and 19 millimeter diameter. It's really good. Just this one point about the flathead screws and the one point for my personal flavor things I like is I'm missing a touch of sweetness, and therefore I think this one suits very good for net vapors, or maybe for other people who just say, I hate sweet liquids. I'm not vaping desserts, so I did not try it to have desserts. I mean sweetness in terms of, let's say, Tom Clark Dark Menthol. There is some sweetness. There is some Coke flavor in it. It's not really there. Also on Tom Clark Classic, there is this Waldmeister flavor in it. This should have some sweetness, which is not really there. And therefore, I think if you don't want to have sweetness or you are vaping tobacco flavors, I think this might suit you very well. Therefore, once again, machining quality, it's not on the absolute 100% side, but it's still very good. Technically, not first top notch on the technique side. It's Vape Systems and biker RTAs are a little bit more on the vintage side, but it's a very good one. It works very well, and the flavor is very good. Just this one sweet thing. Yeah. Yeah, I hope you can understand what I want to tell you, all of positive and negative things. There are no real negative things. There are just a few personal things that I hopefully described well. And so I think that's all to say. So thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.